What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, we're going to talk about the top 3 EIDL questions, starting off with the 3 buckets of money that the SBA has segmented the loans into. Which group are they most likely to go after if you can't pay or refuse to communicate with them? Are we ever going to get them to stop the accrual of interest, and if so, how? And what's it going to take one more time to get the EIDL loan forgiven so that you never pay the SBA a friggin' dime? So ladies and gentlemen, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, whiskey on a big rock. Here we go. My chocolate peptides, the collagen stuff. I don't know if it works. I feel better. I've lost 15 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can tell. I'm getting in fighting shape because we got the podcast starting around Valentine's Day. I've laid off the sauce. I've laid way off the booze, and suddenly the weight is just falling off. I got 20 more pounds to go, but before we get into EIDL and maybe touch on 1 or 2 stocks, one that reports earnings tonight and another one that is just all over the place, GMBL. More on that in a second. Let me start off by saying the podcast, and I can't wait to get this rolling, is going to start sometime around Valentine's Day. And you're going to see my desk turn around. So I'm going to be back up against that wall. You're going to see our logo, which is the red heart, the white SBA, lit up. Some sort of plexiglass lighting thing. You've seen it, I'm sure, on other podcasts. There will be a large screen TV right here, which will be off to my left. It's currently my right. So I can see up to 3 guests, including myself, on the screen. 4K cameras. Get this. They're hooking me up to the point that even if I rock back and forth, which is a bad habit that I need to break, the camera's going to follow me. If I get up and walk over here, it follows me. Follows me all over the fucking room. So I'm telling you right now, our mission is going to be simple. Help you make money in the stock market. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz and by advertising your company at TrySmallBiz.com. And for just currently $1 a day, you can hire me as a premium member. We'll promote you all over the place, and that includes to over 155,000 people / potential customers on social media. That's TrySmallBiz.com, and if you're a free member, you just hit that red upgrade to premium button on your dashboard to get in the game. All right, I'm a little preoccupied. And again, we're going to get into EIDL. I'm going to answer all your questions. Yes, the program is shut down, but there's ways to get money. I'm going to go over all that today. So I hope you did pull up a chair. I need another sip of this mocha chocolate. I got my peptides in here. What is it? I forget. It's some organic coffee out of Colombia. Family show, Colombia. All right, real quickly. BBIG reports tonight. 10K is going to show the second and third quarter, which is backed up 9 months. I don't expect anything outrageous. But we also have from good authority, and I saw the email, that they're going to be releasing the end of the year results and hiring a new CEO no later than March the 31st, and probably, as I drool all over myself, GMBL is running probably before the end of February. So I said last week, I'll say it again. If you can buy BBIG in the 60s, do it. I just bought a little bit more at 73 cents. My average is 84. I'm all over Gary, Mary, Bob, Larry at 11 cents right now. It's been as low since I got in of about 10.80. Shot to 15 and change, but I bought it on the pullback, and I had MGAM at $1, but I was on the telephone, 8662 Small Biz, talking to a premium member because that's the requirements now, and all of a sudden the damn thing took off. So that and BuzzFeed, BZFD, I missed. So I can't catch them all, but as I said in my last video, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll turn me loose and let me focus on making you money in the stock market. You may have seen the screenshots. Some people are making $10,000 to $20,000 a month. A month! How much do they pay me on that 10 or 20 grand? $36 a month. Are you fucking kidding me? But if I'm off running around or I'm on the phone or doing something to pay my bills, I can't be on top of this. And I've got 6 other stocks I'm watching. So follow me on Twitter. We have 30% cash. All right, EIDL. The program, and you may have seen Ryder and the Great Speak and See. And by the way, shout out to Speak and See. Thanks for wearing, I believe it was the Micah Parsons jersey. The Bucks, the Cowboys, total disaster, but we'll save that for another video. EIDL shut down last May. And try as we might to get them to reopen the program, they refuse. So today's video is going to cover what you can do if you can't pay the money back. Who are they coming after? What are your options in terms of 7A loans, micro loans, 504 loans, which you can get through the SBA and a bank that they recommend? What about some of the lenders that I've talked about? Gary at Approved Business Lending, Justin at Trustify.com, and of course, Jonathan at JD Funding. All of them you can find in our financial services category at trysmallbiz.com. But I get a lot of questions. What happens if I can't pay the money back? Then what do I do? Well, simply put, there's 3 buckets of money. $25,000 and under, which there's about 1 million of the 4 million loans totaling almost $400 billion, are 25 grand or less. There's no collateral, in my opinion. And this is not a guarantee, this is my opinion. They're not coming after you as long as you communicate with them. So if you give them a call on the phone and you say, look, my business is going under and I may file bankruptcy next week. There's just no way in hell that I can pay this money back. So unless you're willing to work with me, and I understand you're giving me a 90% deferment, but that's not enough, Mr. SBA loan officer or customer service rep. So if you can't work with me, I have no other choice but to file bankruptcy. They get that on record. It shows that you proactively reached out and said you were in trouble. I do not see them coming after the non-collateralized loans at 25 and under. And again, that's about 1 million people. 2 million, 1.5 million are between 25,000 and 200,000. A lot of you have those loans. Those are collateralized on the business only. So it could be inventory. It might be trucks. It could also be a SEP account in your business name, which is an IRA. They can come after that. But as I just said a minute ago, and I've talked to some very nice people at the SBA, they are overwhelmed. They have funded more loans. They got over $1 trillion on their balance sheet. They funded more loans in the last 2 years of this pandemic than the last 50 years combined of the EIDL program. They do not have enough agents to go after 4 million people, which brings me to my next point. If you're in the final bucket, which is around 500,000 of you, 200,000 or more, you better have your shit together. You better communicate if you're having trouble. If you already filed through your profit and loss statement to get your 90% deferment on the payments, that's a minimum of 6 months. I'm being told it's going to roll over for another 6 months and probably longer. The SBA needs to see, unfortunately, a lot of people suffer. They need to hear the squeaking, the squawking, the filing of bankruptcies, because the last thing they really want to be responsible for, and I know some of you have trouble believing this, and I understand, believe me, they do not want to be responsible for putting millions of small business owners out of business. So they're going to bend over backwards. I think they're going to extend the 90% deferment well beyond 6 months and even a year. But if we get into next year and the economy rolls over and we go into a recession, and they start to see not only layoffs, but bankruptcies mounting, they're going to be under enormous pressure, not only at the SBA, but in Congress, with a 2024, not only presidential election, which is going to be highly contested, but in the House and the Senate as well. And what have they proven in the past? They're willing to do whatever it takes, i.e. student loans, to buy votes. So simply put, if you got less than a $25,000 loan with the SBA, I don't think you have a problem. Just make sure you communicate with them. If it's between 25,000, and 200,000, communicate openly. Do I think they're going to come after your business assets if you do an offer and compromise? You can do that yourself or hire a firm which will charge you a fee to negotiate on behalf of the SBA. By the way, I'm being told that's not going to happen when we do our podcast. You're not going to see the lights go out in Atlanta as GMBL is 0.1138. Buy it at 0.11 or less if you can. It's an esports company. Those are in play right now. We got Be Big is up at 75.5. I paid 73. I told you about GROM. I tried to buy the fucking thing at $1.75. It came down to around $1.85 the other day. That's over too. I've given you guys what I give you. Carvana, CVNA. Yeah, I know I'm getting off course, but it's about making money. Do you guys see what I've been trying to tell you for the last 6 to 12 months? You're asked to pay me $1 fucking a day, and it's probably going to $2 or $3 a day real soon. But we have people that have shown their own bank accounts. They white out their account number. I might as well create a testimonial page because there are people that are making $20, $30, in one case, $40,000 in a month and a half. How much do I collect on that? $36. Let's see. We pay Jason $36. He gave us $40,000 in stock market capital gains. Is that always going to be the case? No. Why are we so on fire? The good Lord above. He knew that this was going to be a bitch. He knew that not more than 371 people out of 155,000 of my social media followers would toss me $1 a day. Doesn't matter how I ask, how often I ask, or how much fucking money people make. They find reasons to come up with, and we had 3 more quit today claiming they don't have $1 a day. They find reasons not to give me a chance. Folks, I can make you many fucking times on whatever you pay me, whether it's $1, $2, $5, $10 a day, whatever it is. We have people making 50 to 100 times, but with respect to EIDL, getting back on course, the only group I think they're going to go after are the larger loans. Just like the IRS. But you hear stories of them fucking around with someone who makes 30 grand a year. That's an exception to the rule. They're going after the larger, over 400,000 a year at the IRS. The same rule is going to apply at the SBA. They're probably going to have a task force, if I'm guessing, of no more than a few dozen people trying to chase down hundreds of thousands / 4 million loans. Ain't going to happen. So if you communicate and you tell them honestly, I applied and got the reduction, but that's not enough. If you can't work with me, I'll be forced to file bankruptcy. And at some point, and I don't have an answer yet, they're going to start doing an offer in compromise, which leads me to my final 2 points of today's video. The outrageous accrual of interest is on their radar. In fact, there are members of the House in the Problem Solvers Caucus, Thomas Sweezy, who last July, July of 2020, proposed 1% on the rate, not 3.75, and we're now pushing them behind the scenes to get rid of the accrual of interest. You don't see me talking about it every day on Twitter because they don't give a shit. But behind the scenes, they do. But what I'm being told every day is we need to see the pain mount. We need to see layoffs. We need to see bankruptcies. We need to see thousands and tens of thousands and probably ultimately hundreds of thousands of people come forward factually and say, I can't make my payments. And at some point, conveniently, right before the election in 2024, which realistically is in the next 6 to 12 months, they're going to have to make a deal. And who's going to get the chance at forgiveness? The ones that are hurting the most. Just like the case right now, for those of you that have over 200,000 on your loan up to $2 million, they want to know what your profit and loss is. And if you didn't hear me in the last video, you take your annualized payments. So if you're paying them $2 grand a month for your $2 million loan, even though it's way more than that, I'm giving you an example. If you're paying them $24,000 a year in your EIDL payments, your losses have to exceed that. If you're knocking it out of the park and your P&L is showing a $500,000 profit, the loan office is going to say denied. The same rules are going to apply, in my opinion, 6 months from now when we have hundreds of thousands of people, maybe more, that can't make these payments even at a reduced rate. So the SBA is going to say, send us your P&L. Show us the proof that you're losing money, that you've had to lay people off, that your business is going under, or that you may have been forced to file a Chapter 7 or 11, and then and only then are they really going to negotiate and wipe out some or maybe even all the loan. But it's going to be means tested. So in summary, if you always communicate with the SBA and you can't make payments, I strongly believe they're going to work with you. But in order for us to get the accrual of interest removed, in order for us to have a chance at forgiveness, and in order for us to keep everybody watching me out of jail, it's going to take communication on your part and father time. They need to see people and layoffs and bankruptcies mount into the summer and fall of this year. And then and only then are they going to listen to me and wipe out the fucking loan so you never pay the SBA a friggin' dime. So until next time, always remember that I love you guys and thank you so much for watching.